Look out for Khang today. He might take Anthony Richardson at 6 and at 18.
But I want to ask you this, Khang. Were you really blown away by the combine, or did it just kind of confirm what you thought about him athletically? And then what did you think of him throwing the football? Because isn't that what matters, is how he did the drills?
Okay, so as far as the athletic testing, I knew he would be athletic. I think we all did. But to be number one in broad jump, vertical, and the arm strength, and the 4.43, it was more than I expected, to be honest with you. So that kind of blew me away. Like, reconfirmed, but more so. The throwing, the deep ball turned into the slam dunk contest. Like, even C.J. Stroud threw a really nice deep ball. So basically it was like Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine all of a sudden, right?
They're trying to one-up each other.
And I love that the crowd was there because they're all like, oh!
One more!
Because there was a difference when Richardson was throwing it compared to Tanner McKee and the other guys, O'Connell. They were throwing like 50, 55-yard bombs. Richardson was throwing like 60 with a flick of a wrist.
I think at one point he threw a 65-yard,
Yeah, effortlessly, right? Now, as far as the out routes and the curls and things like that, yeah, there were some inaccuracies there for sure. And I wasn't, but I kind of reconfirmed what I already knew too. And I know this is against no defenders, against air,
right? But
I think you saw the arm strength. It didn't really deter me that much. You knew there's things to work on. This guy's not a just plug and play quarterback. You're gonna have to. It's a draft and stash for a reason. So I wasn't really deterred. But I get, Gator, if you're like, hey, I was worried about that already going in, and this didn't help. I understand.
I really wanted to be more impressed by his non-deep throws, right? Because the other stuff is the impressive thing is how fast he ran for how big he is. The other stuff is impressive, but for a quarterback, I don't care what his broad jump is, what his vertical leap is. That's not going to come into play in a football game. His speed will, and that part I was like, okay, now that's eye-opening. That's really good stuff. And now let's watch him throw. And it does matter to me that there aren't defenders and he's not accurate. He's not going to get more accurate when there's defenders there. How much of a project is this? Because he does have all the tools. He's intoxicating. The size is perfect. He's prototypical. He's like 6'4", 225, runs a 4.43, 40.
240.
Whatever, 240 pounds. Is that what he even better? And then, launches the ball effortlessly down the field. It's intoxicating. But then it's sobering to see that he can't throw the short throws. It's like Serrano with the curve. He can't hit it.
It's really funny because to me this feels like Anthony Richardson, what he went out and did this weekend, is great news for the Lions. Unless they take him. Right? I mean, he had to have worked himself up the draft board. He's absolutely in play in the top 10. Is he in play in the top 5?
Can you give me 4 in the top 5?
4 quarterbacks,
Are there 4
in the
quarterbacks
top 5?
in the top 5 now? Because if that's the case,
guess
then
what
we
happens?
got something.
Yeah. So, Doug Farrar, USA Today, comes out with his post-combine mock. I mean, today's just a vomit of post-combine mocks. But Indianapolis, C.J. Stroud at 1. Houston, Bryce Young at 2. Arizona, Will Anderson at 3. The Bears, Paris Johnson, because the Bears trade with Indy. Paris Johnson, offensive tackle, Ohio State at 4.
Backing off Jalen
Seattle, Carter. Anthony Richardson, quarterback at 5.
Now, is that more of an indictment of what's going on with Jalen Carter?
Well, at 6, the Detroit Lions select Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon, and Jalen Carter drops to 7. He says, look, it's going to impact him. It's just a matter of how much, and we don't know yet. But in this particular mock, he says it'll have a small impact and drop him to 7. But the bottom line here is Anthony Richardson blows up this weekend, and I think it could help Detroit. Now, he isn't the only one that blew up. I mean, what's crazy is we all have our leg humps. We all have guys that we've wanted, and I there was one player in particular that my whole combine preview, every time we talked about it, I said, I can't wait to see what Jack Campbell does. I can't wait to see what Jack Campbell does, the linebacker from Iowa, who last year led the Big Ten in tackles. He's one of these classic old school. He's a little bit a 1970s NFL linebacker in terms of his size. He's 6'5" and 250 pounds. He measured in. I should know exactly what it is. I'll look it up.
No, it was close.
He's a big, but could he run? So there's something called the relative athletic score, which takes all of your metrics from the combine. Your 40-yard dash, your 3-cone drill, your bench press, your broad jump, your vertical, all of these things. And between 1987, Gator, and 2023, 2,427 linebackers worked out at the combine.
Okay.
And are ranked in terms of their relative athletic score, all the physical stuff. Jack Campbell is 7th on that list all time.
Wow.
Jack Campbell at 18, no matter what. Jack Campbell
Wow.
at
In the first round now
18
for you.
at all costs. Period. Full stop. Take Jack Campbell. Take him.
Out of curiosity, where did like Drew Sanders or Simpson rate on that same score?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know that.
I thought they did pretty well over the weekend as well.
I will see if I can figure it out. The numbers on Jack Campbell, he can run, which was the big question. And at his size, the Big Ten's leading tackler, yes, please. And then your guy, Darnell Washington, the tight end from Georgia, which I saw throw Michigan defenders around like a rag doll 2 years ago in the Orange Bowl, almost to a point where, like, hey, I was scared for some guys. And he goes out and makes a one-handed catch that goes viral.
Ridiculous.
He pushes the sled like he's an offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the leg hump draft, what if the Lions go Anthony Richardson at 6, Jack Campbell at 18, and Darnell Washington at 44? The Karsch and Anderson leg hump draft mock result.
We'd all be happy for different reasons, and I think we'd also all be maybe upset for different reasons.
Yep.
But Darnell Washington, if they can get him in the second round, is that the one where nobody has any issue? You get Darnell Washington with one of those second-round picks. Do you have an issue with that?
I have something to say.
Oh,
nothing.
that's right,
because
you can't with tight ends. Can you just say yes or no? Do you have any issue if they take Darnell Washington in the second round?
I stand moot.
I'm allowing this just for a yes or no answer. No, you don't have any problem. Okay. Khang, would you have any issue?
Would love that pick in the second round.
I would love that pick in the second round. I don't know if he's going to get to the Lions in the second round. I think he goes in the second round. I just don't know. But the guy's 6'7". He's 264 pounds for the combine. Imagine he'll put back on a little bit of weight. I think he wanted to slim down so he could run faster. He ran a 4.64 40. He's strong. He did over 20 reps on the bench. He's got a 31-inch vertical leap for a guy who's 6'7" and 270 pounds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's athletically gifted as well. And his number one asset is he blocks, which I love. Blocking tight end that's that big that can catch the ball too. Okay, yes, please. That sounds great. I was very impressed with him. And yes, that one-handed catch that went viral, look it up. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't got sick yet while watching it, give it a shot.